Hey there, guys. Let's Be Communications, and I got a little podcast going on here. I'm joined with a good friend of mine.
Hello there, this is Matt, aka Ramboraph4life, and Mike asked me to join on this topic, and I said, sure, why not?
It's a topic that we've kind of beaten to death before, but it's been a while. And I mean, we did a podcast about this years ago, and it hasn't changed. In fact, it's just gotten worse. So it's it's like one of those things. It's like we did one of the first podcasts we ever did with the three crazy guys. Like we did one on remakes suck, and some of those remakes weren't made. Other ones have been made. Other
Yeah,
ones are
like
going
Ninja
to be
Turtles,
made.
yeah, like
So it's just
Vacation,
yeah.
and Ninja Turtles, and all that. It's still on Mike's channel, just type in Remake Sucked.
Yeah, it's a
Mike did a,
really old one, but
yeah,
yeah.
Mike did had a Star Wars intro and everything for each episode.
hmm
It's way back then, years ago, but yeah, Mike, what brought this on? What piece of news and
The
such?
news that Big Trouble in Little China is getting a remake, and I know some people were like, "Well, why are you so upset about just a concept?" It's what it represents. It represents this fucking laziness from Hollywood, or in this instance, The Rock. Because let Matt explain it right there, because he was the one that read the
Yeah,
Ain't It Cool News article that actually gave a
uh,
little bit more info on where the remake idea actually came from.
pretty much. No, Mike did a video, and I messaged on the video and also here on Skype. I had gone on April News, and I had read about how The Rock and Big Trouble in Little China remake. I read the article, and on April News, at least the way they said it, is that it was The Rock and his associates and his production company that went to Fox and offered, because Big Trouble in Little China just is one of The Rock's favorite movies, to remake it. And Fox was very excited because, but I don't know when this will be uploaded, but San Andreas actually did well at the box office, made over 50 million in the weekend. And The Rock has been successful, not in Hercules, but in films like Fury 7 and other sequels. Even G.I. Joe 2 was more successful than I think they, for at least another company.
Yeah,
Fox even, I believe, got a writer from X-Men First Class or someone
they
of
got the
that nature.
writers. They got both the writers for it, and I'm like, that's the worst possibly we could get because they wrote a very boring X-Men movie. Yeah, let's take one of the most entertaining, fun movies of the '80s with some really great, memorable lines of dialogue, and let's hand over the remake script to the guys who didn't write one memorable line of dialogue for First Class.
But a lot of people like that movie.
I know, but I was not one of them. But to each their own.
So we're in a minority, but oh well. Still our opinion.
But even
But
if you did like that movie, you can't really say that had punchy dialogue or good jokes in it because that wasn't the point of it. I guess is being really serious. But
and now I know why I was more a fan of Stone Cold Steve Austin during the Attitude Era. And why the crowd was saying, Rocky sucks!
sucks.
Rocky
Rocky
sucks!
sucks.
I mean, yes, fine, he's a fan of the movie. Then don't remake it. Get John Carter Russell and do a sequel or something. I
Or
mean,
take the concept of it. You really like the movie. Okay. Take the concept of it, give it your own fresh spin on it, create your own franchise with similarities to it, but with your own different take on it. And that way, you're not riding the coattails of Eternal China. You're not pissing off people like me. You're just creating a film that is you're doing what I feel originality is nowadays. You're
well,
taking an
that's how
original, you're
back in the
taking
day you had Big
yeah,
Trouble in Little China and Golden Child in the same year.
yeah,
Two films that have similarities, but they're both entertaining.
yeah, exactly.
I mean,
You,
no film is original, but
no,
when I say original, I mean it doesn't need to be rely on a film like a crack for Dave Chappelle on the Chappelle Show,
exactly. No, it doesn't.
like his
It's
character.
yeah.
The crack,
It
crack.
exactly. like Matt was saying, there is really, I really believe that there really isn't such a thing as a truly 100% original film. I know a lot of people are saying, well, Tomorrowland bombed. You need to support original movies instead of sequels or reboots. And I'm like, Tomorrowland isn't even that unique anyway. It's based on a theme park. It's part of Disneyland, and I
Here's the
heard it
thing.
just does a lot of homages to older sci-fi films.
But here's the thing. Maybe it's a bad original movie.
Yeah,
So why should you support a bad movie over a bad movie? Support good movies, whether
like
it's original or
Dread.
remake. But it's just that well, how do I put it? If I look at the odds, the recent odds, if I looked at the recent track record, there have been better and more of a good ration of original movies than remakes. If I
Yeah,
name the last 20 remakes, 90% of them are shit. If I name 20 original films like John Wick and Dread and Edge of Tomorrow and
yeah.
Gravity, which I did see
I
and I even
saw them
paid money
too.
for and I did support,
I saw
I did not.
Oblivion as well, so I paid money for those type of films. I saw It Follows this year, so I
Saw
do pay to see these type of movies.
saw Everly, saw Digging Up the Marrow. I
Yeah,
even have them on DVD over here,
yeah,
owned. They weren't free. And lo and
exactly.
behold, all the films that I like so far are not remakes or reboots. The Kingsman, Everly, Skin Trade, Digging
Kung
Up the
Fury,
Marrow, Kung
Kung
Fury.
Fury is its own sort of, it's a homage to the 80s. It's not a rip-off of the 80s action films like some people. I don't understand their argument, but each their own. It puts its own spin on it. And that's what I think originality is. Stuff like Kung Fury. That's the kind of thing. You want to make a Big Trouble in Little China type movie with The Rock,
Well, they'll say they'll
then
put their
then
own spin on the remake, like John Carver did
but
with
it's
The
just point
Thing.
it's pointless though. I mean, I don't buy it though, because I don't think it's mainly because Matt's saying like the recent track record. Why in the hell should I have hope for that? Why should I be excited for a remake of Big Trouble in Little China when I'm in an era where they have the Robocop remake, Total Recall, all these
The
other
hit.
remakes, The
You've had
Hitcher,
Red Dawn. You had Total Recall. You had The Hitcher.
Carrie?
You had The Fog. Carrie, which I didn't see, I will admit. But because I saw The Fog, Assault on 13 didn't impress me much. I'm
No, it
sorry.
didn't.
Halloween, fuckoween. The Hitcher might as well be the bitcher. The fuck stick, aka The Fog. Nightmare on Rape Street, and you got Red Yawn, and you got Total Retardation, you got Robocop up your ass, and you got Super Chuds, and you got all this other shit. Transmorphers with starring the guy who ripped off the weapon from Final Fantasy. People keep bitching about them, but they keep making money. I didn't go see Transformers
I didn't
4.
either.
I didn't go see Super Chuds for.
I
I
didn't
saw them
see
for
it either.
free. For free.
Yeah, I
You
saw
all
for
the
free
people.
too.
You all the people who fucking bitch and bitch and bitch and bitch, and then you went and paid money for it. The only reason I even saw that was I did it for fans for free, and I'm glad for that because I actually do something that Hollywood doesn't do. Because Hollywood says, "Fuck dude, fuck you." I am not going to support them, so I'm going to see it for free. I don't give a fuck,
Yeah,
and I'm going to pay my money for films that I like Edge of Tomorrow and
yeah.
Dread. And then, oh, where's Dread 2? Dread 2. You didn't go see Dread 2. You went to
No,
see fucking Ninja Super Chuds and the Poltergeist remake, which made like, what, 25 million opening
yeah.
weekend?
I wouldn't
Made
be
back his
surprised if it
budget.
ends up making probably more than at the end of its run. It'll probably make more, definitely more than part three, definitely
And all the
more than the
people
sequel.
bitching about the Poltergeist remake. Guess what? I didn't go pay for it.
I didn't either. I'm a huge fan of the original Poltergeist. I was not going to put myself through that. I was not going to do it. I'm going to watch it because I'm going to watch it for free. I know it's.
And people don't say, well, why you watch it if you don't care?
I want to see if it's as bad as people say. I want to see it for myself
Well,
because you
people
never
that, again,
know.
people go, well, that's why people go pay and watch these and support it.
Well, yeah, I understand that, but I think when you
Fuck that. Then go
support,
see it for free, or go see
yes,
it on Netflix, or
yeah,
download
or wait till
it at
DVD
this
to see
time.
it. How about that? And not everything you have to see in the theater, even if you don't really like the concept or you don't like the idea, then don't see it in the theater. Why are you
If you
giving
don't,
it your money in the theater if you don't want to see it? I mean,
yeah, in the theater, yeah, go see it on fucking Netflix if you're that serious
that
about it.
doesn't make any sense to me. I don't do that. I did that one time with Robocop. I don't want to do that again. That was one of the worst theatrical experiences I've ever had in my life.
I did that
So
once for the Thing prequel. I'll never do it again. And thankfully, I did it because I knew the film flopped, so I knew I wasn't doing anything. But everyone wanted me to see it, so I did it for them. And
I
as
did
I
it for I
saw it,
saw RoboCop for the remake for my fans, for them too, and it didn't do very well. Unlike what some people want to say it was a hit, it wasn't. It only made 58 million in the United States. Had a budget of over 100 million, of 150 million, not counting the advertising cost because they did make toys, all kinds of other stuff
overseas.
like that. And overseas, it made a box office total of, if you count overseas, 249 million. That's not counting the advertising budget. It didn't make that much.
Well, Poltergeist made 38 million so far.
So that's pretty decent. But I don't know if that it probably made back its budget
Yeah, it did.
because they made it on the cheap. But it's the
But
thing.
getting
It's
to your point, go ahead.
yeah. The point is when you have a film like Kung Fury, which is a fan-funded movie through Kickstarter and is made for $600,000, and it's a short film, and it's more unique and more somewhat original than most films today. That's a fucking problem. I think that's a problem. I don't know about you. That's like, wow. It really makes you think about what what these movies from major studios have become nowadays. And it's not because I'm like, oh, you're just nostalgic. Because I'm like, movies were better back then. Why do you think Hollywood is taking every popular, remotely well-known title from the '80s and considering remaking it? Except for a few that have some powerful people behind them that will not allow it to happen.
Yeah, if they suck so badly, but yet they're like, hey, we want to remake them and use their word, use the name, but
It's
don't
just
use
a
the name to
name
sell
now.
it.
It's just a name. Like people say, well, there's always been remakes. Yeah, you've had John Carpenter's The Thing. You've had The Blob from 1988. Those movies didn't make any
Yeah,
money.
I'll tell you, Mike, how many remakes can you name from the 80s? Name them, I'll count.
Well, I know Three Men in the
And the
Little
Baby?
wasn't that was technically a remake. I
Yeah,
think
that's
there
one.
was
The Blob, The
The
Thing, The
Blob, The
Fly.
Thing, The Fly.
That's four. Scarface.
Scarface. There's probably some
That's
others that are a
five.
little bit more obscure. I mean, I've looked it up against all
So
odds.
you
It's
can name
technically one.
five in a decade.
Yeah,
How many can you name in
that's the
just the
thing.
past 5 years?
I know people are saying that it's always
Again,
been that way, and
you,
I'm like, I
but
don't agree with that. I don't think it has always been that
but you can
way.
only name at most five
Off the top of my head,
so
anyway.
far.
I mean,
But I
there's
bet in the
probably some
past five
others
years you
that.
can name at least five
Oh
in just
yeah,
5 years.
there's some years when the horror genre you can name three just in one year. I mean,
Exactly.
or more than that.
That's the difference.
It's an oversaturation, folks. It's an oversaturation of remakes
And reboots. I'm gonna
and
put that in the two.
reboots. It's
Tired of fucking
they're no
reboots.
longer it's no longer unique or different. Like when The Thing came out, or The Blob, or The Fly. John Carpenter's The Thing. He made it. He did it because he liked the original film, the '50s movie that Howard Hawks. It was Howard Hawks, right?
And yes, yeah.
Did Thing
And
from
yes,
Another World,
once in a while there will be one that I like.
Maniac.
Because I would be lying if I said they were 100%. Just nothing's 100%.
No, nothing's 100% bad or
That's
good.
fucking lottery.
Yeah,
That's just
lottery
lottery,
numbers.
folks.
The remakes are a good remake is a lottery number. Yeah,
But it's there though. It's gonna
yeah,
come out with one. Michael Bay once in a while doesn't do something stupid.
like Painting
Like
Game.
or even, once in a while Seagal actually made a good movie like Above the Law. But it's lottery. Of course,
Yeah,
once in a while. But that doesn't mean you need to have 50 more.
exactly. That's the thing. It's
Th-
is it necessary? Is there an audience? Is there a really big audience that's clamoring for a Big Trouble in Little China remake? I don't think so. I don't think the cult fan base is like, yeah, what we need now is a remake of the film with CGI and The Rock. No.
honestly, I think they would go for like I can deal with, say, what Stars is doing with Ash versus the Evil
Yeah,
Dead. Maybe doing that with Kurt Russell
yeah.
or something. But at the same time, it's just I'm tired of reboots. I'm tired of remakes. I'm tired of this
I am too. It's got
flashbang horse shit.
like I said, it's oversaturation to the point where it just makes you sick.
And a
It's
lot of
like
it is
enough of
shitty. I
this.
know it's subjective, but this is our subjective. Then
Exactly.
make your own subjective. Our subjective
I
is the
can't the
last.
last really good remake I can think of I liked was Maniac
If I think of the last
by
20,
Alexandra Aja, who
if the
seems to
last
be the only one who
20
directed a lot
remakes,
of
a
really
lot of
good
them have been
remakes.
bad.
Yeah. April
If I think of
Fool's
the last
Day,
20
all these other ones
remakes,
and so forth, Prom Night.
last
Um,
20 remakes, 90% of them have been shit.
and also,
I
I
know
don't think
it's subjective,
these
but
recent
fuck it.
remakes are remade for the right reasons. That's another thing. Like I was going back to John Carpenter when he did the thing, he loved the original, but he also wanted to respect the original by not just copying it or making some half-assed version of it. He wanted to create his
Well,
own
again, they'll
vision
just
of
say,
the
well, The
film.
Rock loves it. You don't know if he'll be
Well,
that.
if it's good, I'll admit it. But the recent track record suggests, not very likely. Like Matt said, it's like winning the lottery. That's the best chance. That's the best chances I have of that being a good remake. There is absolutely no reason that I should have hope in a remake of Big Trouble in Little China. There's absolutely no reason in my mind that I should have any hope for this
And
because of the
I'll,
recent
I'll,
track record.
I'll speak for myself. I don't just blame Hollywood, I blame the general public as well. And I'll be the bad guy on that.
All right.
Because it's true. Because it's true in the fact that how many people bitch about Transformers again and again and again and again, but you still made Transformers for $1 billion. Everywhere I looked before that Ninja Turtles film came out, and I know it's not a remake, but still a reboot. That's why I said fuck both.
Hmm.
We're bitching and bitching and bitching and bitching. The turtles look like shit. The alien shit. The script shit. Michael Bay shit. Megan Fox shit. And
It
they
was the butt of
still
jokes before it was even
it's
released.
and it still became a gargantuan hit. Because it didn't fucking matter. And that's why they can laugh in your faces. That's why Megan Fox can go on an interview and say, if you don't like it, fuck you.
Uh
Because she
huh.
can do it. Because it
Yeah.
doesn't matter. Because you'll still go pay and see it. Because you're okay with someone telling you with a middle finger in front of your
Yeah.
face, suck a dick. And you're like, yes, sir, may I have another dick to suck.
To quote
But
The
if Dre,
Rock, it
but if
doesn't matter what you think. Exactly.
But then if Dredd comes out and is like, hey, I really like it, and then Mike
I did
sees it,
too.
he
Yeah.
really likes it,
It
and
had
then other
great
people see
3D.
it,
It really
they
did.
really like it, and then people are like, fuck that, whatever, I don't want to see it, and
It's
then
another
months later,
Stallone movie. Like, what is a Stallone remake of the Stallone film? That movie sucked. Why won't want to see that? And, like, has nothing to do with the Stallone movie, but okay.
and then it's like, well, well, where's Dredd 2? Where's Dredd 2? I don't know, where were you when the film came out?
Or like Edge of Tomorrow, where
Edge of
it
Tomorrow.
barely made much. Like it made a little bit, but not as much as it I honestly thought it should have.
Where
And where were you? You just hating Tom Cruise because of his religion? Yeah,
All
that's
but Megan
shitty.
Fox is so much better. And all his
Yeah,
other shit is so much better. And Mark Wahlberg and his Funky Bunch is so much better.
he's like one of the most probably one of the highest box office grossing actors right now is Mark Wahlberg.
But anyway, I know I'm the bad guy. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, well, you know,
So I said I'll speak to you for me. Me, myself, and I.
yeah.
Because, hey, you want to go and bitch about Poltergeist remake and then you make a
Well, I
gross
agree with
ass
that, and I
movie?
agree with that in the same point. I mean, it's like if you don't want to see a movie and you have no
Then wait for
desire to see it,
Netflix. If you're
then
that
don't
guy.
pay money for it. Don't give it your money. That's that makes no sense. That's like going to a shitty restaurant that has shitty reviews, and you still
That's,
go there and you pay for it and you eat the food, and then you
that's
get
like,
food poisoning later, and
yeah.
you're sitting on the shitter, and you're all like, this sucks.
If I go to McDonald's 10 times, this new location, and I got diarrhea 8 of the times, should I go back there for the 11th time on the slim chance that I won't get diarrhea? No, I'm gonna be like, you know what? I'm gonna go somewhere else. I'm gonna go to Hardee's. I'm gonna go to Burger King. I'm gonna go to Godfather's and somewhere else.
Exactly. It's a great way to put it. But like I was saying, these remakes and reboots to me aren't made for the right reasons. And going back to Carpenter, he
Well, they'll
had
say
he
it's
had a
always money.
vision,
It's
he
always
had
been about money.
passion.
That's
It's
why.
always money. Like the thing
That's what
was
people say.
like
It's always
that
money.
didn't make any money. So it must not have been about money. And
They wanted to make money
they
though.
wanted to
They
make
open in
money.
the
But
summer.
that's a really shitty, I think a really that's only part of the reason why. That's not the reason why. I mean, yes, of course. Duh. Of course they want to make money. That's what every film wants to do. It wants to make money. But that's not the only reason. And because with a film like David Cronenberg's The Fly, well, we wanted to make it sort of an experiment. Let's take the this old 50s movie and let's update it to the 80s. Let's change things up. Let's make our own unique sort of take on it. Now, of course, it's not completely 100% original, but it's still also not the same film as The Fly from the 50s. Same thing goes for John Carpenter's The Thing. He also wanted to make a film that was more like the original source material. The other 50s movie really didn't do that. It wasn't like the original source material. So John Carpenter and the people who wrote that film wanted to make it more like the original source material. The creators of the Blob remake in 1988, they wanted to take a 50s film that was kind of campy. It was definitely of its time, and they wanted to update it with effects that
But again,
they
you
never
get
could
people
actually
going.
have
But you don't know if
from
that's
back
what
in the day.
they'll do that with the Blob. They'll do that with Big Trouble in Little
Well, they're
China. Maybe they
remaking the
will do.
Blob again anyway,
I
so that's
know. That's
another
why I
one
said
that we can
maybe they
mention. I mean,
will.
that's
Maybe they will do it
but that's
different.
the thing. Here's my opinion on that. If it's done really well the first time around, especially with the remake, like if you're remaking the Blob again, that really doesn't make any sense to me. Like you are really playing with fire there. Like how many second remakes can you think of have been really good? I could think of Body Snatchers from 1993. That's really about it.
Well, of course, they go well with your type of thinking. They would never made that movie
Well,
in the '90s.
well, possibly, but like the type of way that I'm thinking is not necessary. It's the 70s movie. Well, actually, they probably still would have. Look at the limitations the 70s film had, and the difference in the time period, and the difference in way things were, and all
They
of
say the
that.
same thing about
Versus,
nowadays
it's not
compared to
that
the
different.
'80s.
It's not that fucking different. We had people wearing 80s fucking t-shirts with 80s,
But we got CGI and we got
logos on it.
tears and we got.
I'm wearing a Jurassic Park t-shirt right now. If other people wear Jurassic Park t-shirts, other people are wearing Back to the Future shirts. People probably wearing other shirts from 80s movies. People,
But we got CGI. We got iPhones. We got all this
but
other
that
stuff.
doesn't matter. I mean, that's just a difference. That's just a really small difference. It's like, okay, the technology got better.
But it's not made for us. It's made for the kids nowadays.
That's bullshit because I think every movie that was made, unless it was specifically made for yeah, an R-rated film that was made for kids. I don't agree with that, but usually what a film wants to do is appeal to everyone it can, old old audiences and new, so that way it can get the most money. I don't know. That's
A good movie's a good movie.
that's it exactly. A good movie's a good movie. Why would I want to see another version of a movie that I already liked that was already done well the first time around?
That
But I
there's
mean,
no improvements
there's
to
no
be made.
improvements to be made on a Big Trouble in Little China film. The effects aren't shitty in that movie. I'm sorry, they still hold up really well. The writing is still really clever and funny and witty. The acting is still good. The story is still good. What are you going to do that's going to improve upon it? Like when I look at John Carpenter's The Thing, they took a film that from the 50s, which the difference between the 50s and the 80s is a hell of a lot different than the difference between the 80s and now. That's why I don't think they made the Flight of the Navigator remake. Because they're like, the difference between the 70s and even the difference between the 70s and the 80s is a lot different. So that's why I don't get why let's remake something. Let's remake all these movies from the 80s when it's a decade when I personally feel was the best films. Uh, it was a where we had this explosion of just new and fresh ideas. And someone actually made a point on Facebook I liked, says back in the day we didn't have to look for or defend semi-original ideas. They just happen.
Where you're just nostalgic, you gotta get over it.
Fuck that. I'm nostalgic for good movies. Yeah.
So am I. I'm nostalgic for good movies.
So
I like good movies.
yeah, I mean that's the thing. It's
And the track record for remakes have been a lot of movies
they
that
haven't
were
made that
not
much money
good.
either. So if you're going for the money reason why Hollywood wants money, they haven't made that much money. They bombed. Majority of them have flopped. The last truly, I get the Evil Dead remake made some profit, but not enough for them to greenlight a sequel
Yeah, I guess not, because they were going to, but then they're doing this Ash thing.
because they said no because it didn't make as much as we wanted it to, even though it made a decent amount. But the last really super big box office hit domestically for a horror film in terms of a remake was The Ring. That was in 2002. That's how long ago it was. The second most successful remake was The Grudge. They're remaking that again.
Yeah, they are.
So see, it's why would I support laziness? That's what this is now. It's laziness. Because back in the 80s when you had a remake, it wasn't made. There weren't like remake after remake after remake after remake coming out every goddamn year, or reboot, or whatever.
Well, think about
They weren't
this.
rebooting a franchise that was not even 10 years old, like Spider-Man. And they
No, I
weren't
mean,
rebooting that again for the second goddamn time.
I was just saying, if you didn't, if it was like this back in the 70s and 80s, then a remake or a reboot would have pushed out someone doing Dirty Harry,
Mm-hmm.
doing someone doing Lethal Weapon, someone doing Die Hard,
Mm-hmm. Predator
because a novel and
or
a comic book
Robocop.
with because when you make a comic or a novel into a movie, it's completely different because they're two completely different mediums. So you can't use that as well. That's the same thing because when you read a book and you watch a movie, they're two completely different mediums. When you're watching a
Exactly.
movie and watching a movie, that's the same medium. So you can't. That's not the same
Yeah.
thing.
No, it
When it's
isn't.
on a printed page and then you see it moving and everything else with voices and music, two
Yeah,
completely different mediums. That's like
definitely.
saying that that's like saying
Well,
a
video
cartoon.
games,
Yeah,
that
that's
kind
like
of thing.
saying, or it's like saying a cartoon and a live action movie are exactly the same thing. It's not exactly the same
No.
thing. You do more in one than you can in the other. One is less goofy than in the
It's
other.
like comparing the Garfield and Friends cartoon to the Garfield movies. I mean, they're not really remakes. The Garfield live action movie is not a remake of Garfield and Friends. It's
But I'm just
just an
saying, my point
adaptation.
was, then you would not have had Commando. You would not have had
The
Big Trouble
first
in Little
one,
China. You would not have had Die Hard. You would not have
RoboCop,
had RoboCop.
Predator.
You would not have had Predator. You would not have these because instead it would be a reboot, remake of Death
You
Wish,
wouldn't
or
even had Alien either.
would have had Alien, would not have had Halloween, would not have had Texas Chainsaw Massacre. We would not have had
Friday the 13th
because
or
they won't take a
Nightmare on Elm
chance.
Street.
Because it'd be like, no, we're not going to take a chance on Never Elm Street. We're going to reboot Dreamscape a year later.
Oh my God.
That's the
Well,
thinking would have been. Oh, Dreamscape could have worked. Let's reboot
and
it
for
instead of doing Nightmare on Elm Street.
today's audience, let me put it like this: it's like remaking The Dark Knight. Now, does that need a remake?
Well, in a way, it's reboot. It's just Batman.
Well, it's a reboot, but an actual just straight up remake, where you
Yeah.
take the same world and the same characters and you just recast them and then do a little bit something different. No, it doesn't.
What's the thing? They're going to go, well, you don't know if they'll just do something a little bit different.
See, then why don't you just make your own original concept based on the idea in the first place? That's what I'm saying. It, with the thing, I know the thing, the Blob, the Fly, and everyone brings that up, or Night of the Living Dead, or all those other concepts and so forth. But the thing that really sticks out to me is just the difference in time periods for me personally. I just think there's a serious difference between you, right, man? When you watch a movie from the 60s, you watch a movie from the 80s, but you watch a movie from the 50s and then watch a movie, watch the 50s Blob and then 1988 Blob. There's a huge striking difference.
Yeah, I mean, well, yeah,
When we look at a movie from the 80s, if I watch Robocop and then I watch the 2000 whatever 14 remake, the only difference I see is there's more CGI, there's a lot of color grading, and it's an HD. It's not like the
yeah.
story, it's not like the screenwriting is better, it's not like the acting is better, it's not like the story is not still prevalent today.
Well, to us, that's the thing.
Well, yeah, I know, but that's the thing. But when you look at a film from the 50s versus a film from the 80s, even if you were somebody who lived in the 50s and was living in the 80s, you could even admit that there's a serious difference between that film and the newer film. I can't really
Yeah.
say that for a lot of these newer remakes. That's why I don't really see why it's absolutely necessary that we need another modern day remake of Poltergeist, for instance. Because remember, all I was hearing about that remake from a lot of people who've seen it is that all they add is a lot of CGI. They throw in a lot of current technology, like
A drone.
iPhones and drones and shit.
There's a drone.
And there's somewhat of interesting idea of capitalizing on this current age's obsession with technology, but it doesn't go very far with that. In fact, it should have just made its own film based on that
They
concept.
did. It's called Insidious.
Yeah, they already did a concept. It's called Insidious. They already remade Poltergeist before, and they add in this new one they add stupid shit like a CGI squirrel that's spazzing out and looks like it's from a PlayStation game. So it seems like, oh, it's just we'll just take an old concept, an old idea, and we're just gonna. It's like leftovers. It's like Hollywood's taking leftovers from the 1980s, putting it in a microwave, reheating it, and selling it to us for double the price in 3D. I don't know about you. I don't want to keep eating leftovers from the 80s.
Well, again, they'll just say, just don't watch it then.
I'm not going to. I'm not going to, but I just don't like the concept of the idea of originality
Well, I probably
or
don't
some
have to
sort
because
of,
people don't keep asking
yeah,
me.
something
And then I'm like, you
unique.
know what? I want to do something for my fans just actually give a shit
Yeah,
about them.
exactly.
And
Yeah,
even when I've said no 50 times, like the stupid Ninja Turtles movie, I said I never want to see it. Then everyone kept asking me. I'm like, you know what? I feel bad because they actually
yeah,
liked my stuff. So I
yeah.
actually want to do something like Hollywood who says eat shit and die.
Fuck you
Fuck
and
you and
die.
eat shit and die.
Fuck you and die. Exactly.
Fuck off, you pissant.
But it's just, I if this is just stagnant.
Tired of this shit in the
I'm tired of it
past.
too because what's
My
happening
gas for
is
my ass and the sass.
we are going to get in the future more of these remakes, more
We
of these
already have.
reboots.
It
We
doesn't
already
stop.
have. It hasn't
Getting
stopped.
kickboxer,
It's
getting
getting even
bloodsport,
worse.
getting fucking.
It's gotten even worse, and it's only going to get worse from here.
We'll
And
do an original movie. I want a good original movie.
yeah,
Tomorrowland doesn't look good.
plus it's
Has to
from
be good
Disney, and it's a live action film from Disney.
on a
People don't
on a
trust Disney's
theme
live
park.
action movies.
On a theme
After
park.
Lone Ranger and John Carter, which were some of the biggest bombs of all time.
Of course, it's funny people call it original movie, although it's based on a theme
Yeah,
park.
that's what
But
I was saying. I'm like, that's not really original.
well, you did see Chappie. Oh yeah, the Short Circuit remake.
I know.
Yeah,
It's
you're
like
right.
short
But
circuit
like,
with a
I
new
mean,
coat of
even
paint.
yeah, I
Yeah.
know. Even movies we like aren't original either, like Dread and stuff. I know.
But at the same time, with Chappie, I'm at least glad it wasn't a short circuit. It technically is
I know.
like
I'm
short
just kidding with
circuit,
that.
but at least it was trying to be
But
its own
everyone
film.
was saying it's a bad movie.
Yeah.
Has to be a good movie, like Edge of Tomorrow.
Which is
Grant,
technically an adaptation as well of a comic, an anime,
yeah.
or a manga I've never read,
I
or
mean,
a
it's
book
here's the
from
thing. You can't
Japan,
just.
but
You also can't go the other way and blindly say just support anything original, because then you just get on the other side of the pendulum, where you just get a lot of shitty original movies.
yeah.
We want good movies, period. I don't know why that's so hard to understand. Good movies, period. And when 90% of remakes lately have been shit, it's like, how come people always say this for video game movies, but then
Yeah,
if you say remakes, then you get, like,
yeah.
you're crazy.
That's a good analogy because a lot of video game.
These are the same people that say, well, video game movies are always shit,
Y-
but then if you talk about
Yeah,
remakes, they're like, well, but.
yeah. But a lot of video game movies, yeah, that it's gotten so bad that Hollywood really doesn't even want to even try with video game movies
Because a
lately.
lot of them were shit.
Yeah.
100%? No. There's a couple, but there's a
But why
couple.
isn't that the same thing with remakes? Because a lot of them are shit, a lot of them are critically panned, a lot of them don't make that much money. So it just seems like it's just stubbornness. And it's just, I really think it comes down to laziness. It comes down to, well, we have this property that people like, that people are familiar with, and instead of taking a different spin on it or doing something different with it, we're gonna take the old concept, we're gonna take this franchise, and we're gonna remake it because we're fucking lazy. And then hopefully we're gonna get some money from the people who like the original, and then we're gonna get money from new people. And I know people say, well, oh, well, the remake gets other people to see the old movies too, and whatever. It's like, why do we need a remake to do that?
You
I'm
could
just,
just re-release in theaters.
you could do that, or they can just find the movie themselves. You can find it on Blu-ray or
It's not like you can't
DVD or
find it
Netflix
the
or
way things nowadays.
torrent it. You can find Big Trouble in Little China if you want to watch it, the original film.
Yeah, it's not like Blue Monkey or
Yeah.
Shakma or
Well, you need to pay
Salvation.
$35 to get on Blu-ray.
But it's not like something that you can't find and be like, oh, what's this movie?
Yeah, it's not like Aberration.
Some, yeah, the
It's not
90s.
even. Yeah, it's in the late '90s film. It's not even released in the United States on DVD.
Yeah, no.
I don't know about you. I don't want to see the same thing I've seen before, just with new effects and whatever. And I want a little bit more for a reason why I'm seeing another Big Trouble in Little China, other than The Rock likes it and he makes money, and here we go.
So what? Fuck his 2012 remake. That's what
Not a
San
great.
Andreas is, a
I didn't
remake of
see it
2012.
because I was like, this just looks like 2012, or it looks like another disaster movie I've seen a million times. There's no reason for me
Well, okay,
to.
but anyway, yeah, we gotta support that because it's original. That's what
Yeah,
I'm talking about. We're not going blindly just go, oh, support any originals too.
no.
Of course, people did support this, so it doesn't matter what we think. But it's all about subjective. I just want good movies. Well,
Yeah.
I'm always speaking for myself. I can't speak for 50
I can't
people
speak
or
for
50,000
for
people.
50,000
They're
people
just
or 50 million
me,
people either.
the two of us speaking for two people.
And if
That's all it
anybody else
is.
out there hears
People can't
this
figure that
and
out. They're idiots.
if anybody else out there hears this and feels the same that we do, fine. If people don't, that's fine too.
And if you like it, that's
It's
fine.
not like my goal here is trying to convince people that you
Just
should
venting.
not go see this movie if you want to, or you should, or
We,
all remakes are shitty and
we wouldn't be able to anyway. You
everything
don't
that
do whatever
Hollywood
you
does
want.
sucks. No, that's not it. It's just sharing my personal thoughts on it, just venting a little bit because I agree with Matt. It just feels like just getting the pass. It's just it's gotten out of hand to me. It's not a good sign for the future. I don't want a future where you have almost every movie in the theater is just a remake, a prequel, a reboot, a sequel based on a comic book, whatever. I don't know. I understand there's no such thing as a 100% original idea, but I like creativity. I like I don't want things to remain stagnant. They're stagnant right now. It's just like sitting water that's growing fucking flies and mosquitoes and shit. All kinds of mold. But we're just leaving it there. And it's there, it's right in front of our face, we're just leaving it there, not doing anything about it. But in reality, we kind of are. It's one of those kind of pointless. It's like, what are we gonna do about it? Because Hollywood is just stubborn and stupid, like the record companies, who just kept releasing the same shit again and again and again. They're so backwards in their thinking. They think that, oh, people need to buy or want to still buy CDs and records. Took them forever to get with the times. And it's happening again with Hollywood because it's a bunch of rich fucks who really don't think they have any reason. And we haven't really given them any reason to change either. So, to be honest. So that's why I support independent films. Now, sometimes their films suck too. But at least they aren't. I've had a better track record with independent films in terms of have seeing good movies from them than a lot of things that are churned out by Hollywood lately.
Yeah,
And
track record.
when it
Yeah.
comes to remakes, I'll just watch The Blob, or watch The Thing, or watch The Fly, or watch Dawn of the Dead from 2004. I'll watch good remakes. I'll do that. Remakes that I personally have seen for myself and do enjoy. And I encourage you to watch those too. And if you end up the new Big Trouble in Little China remake comes out and you like it, be my guest. It's not a good trend for me. It's just it feels like they're just remaking movies because they made money in the 80s and they want to make money with the property again. But that doesn't make any sense either because Big Trouble in China didn't make money. It was a cult film. That's like hey, let's remake Buckaroo Banzai. Let's do that. Let's do that while we're at it too.
They will. They
Yeah.
will.
They'll
I
remake
guarantee
Child's
it.
Play. They'll remake Hellraiser. They already kind of remade Child's Play. I mean, Curse of Chucky was as close to a reboot as you could possibly get. If you took
Well, I
away
mean,
the
they
scene at the end with Andy, it is technically a reboot.
well they talked about remake Child's Play, so they'll do it.
Yeah, they'll do Hellraiser. They'll do Reanimator. They'll get around to Pumpkinhead. Probably get around to Phantasm. The Hidden. Like that one article where the guy thinks The Hidden should be remade because the technologies is
Dated.
dated. And I
It's
know some
dated.
people would say that, oh, well, you're arguing with the 50s and the 80s. It's like, that's a complete difference to me. I'm like the 50s black and white blob movie, or it was color, but the blob looks like it's raspberry jelly. Yeah, I think we probably could improve upon that.
Because they don't like the movies from the 80s. That's just the
Yeah,
subjective part.
it's the subjective part. So they're kind of like the people in the 80s were with the 50s movies, which is the way it is. I have no problem with that. It's just I kind of would like to see more. I just don't want to keep seeing all of these remakes and reboots and whatever the fuck. It's fucking annoying. And I swear to God, I think Hollywood, if they could remake every successful movie from the 80s, they would. At the end of the day, I'd rather see a remake of a film that could use an update, whether or not it was successful or not. That's not the point. It could have a reason to be updated. If you don't like Big Trouble in Little China, then of course you'll have a reason for it to be updated. But I love it. There's a lot of people that love it. I don't see why it needs to be remade. I don't see why Escape from New York needs to be remade either.
Well, again, they'll just go, well, you don't need to see it, and the original will
No,
always be there.
exactly. But I will always have that remake. It's like the remake's always gonna be there too. So it goes both ways. I don't like having a remake be there just because they could make it.
The door swings both ways.
Exactly. I mean, and reboots. I mean, look at the Ghostbusters reboot with all female cast written by Paul Feig, who I'm really starting to fall out of favor with. Melissa McCarthy, who I can't stand anymore. Her 5 minutes of fame are up.
Maybe you'll
See,
like it.
maybe I'll like it. Yeah, I mean, like the lottery. Maybe I'll win the lottery too.
Yeah, maybe.
See, that's the thing, and I just it just bugs me. I just want to see it remake something that sucked. Make it better. That's why I'm okay with the Logan's Run remake. I didn't think the movie was terrible. Wasn't necessarily my cup of tea. But I personally think that could use an update with a bigger budget and better effects. And it's an interesting concept anyway. So you could do a remake of that. And I'd be okay with that. I'm okay with Logan's Run.
Not me. It'd just be like Rollerball
Yeah, I know.
another shitty remake of a seven, which I don't mind Logan's Run. I like Rollerball more, so I think they just do like Rollerball and fuck it up and get like
Well,
Mark
I don't
Wahlberg.
have. I mean, yeah, my
Mark
hope isn't very
Wahlberg is
high
a
for it.
fucking guy.
My hope isn't very
Yeah.
high for it considering the recent track record, but I'd
Mark
rather see.
Wahlberg and Kristen Stewart.
Yeah, that's.
Just see
But
the islands.
yeah, but like I'm saying, I would rather see something like that than a remake of The Trouble of China, which still holds up pretty well. It's like remaking Aliens. It doesn't, or The Terminator, which they kind of are in a way, if you think
Reboot.
about it.
It's a reboot because the original Terminator doesn't matter anymore because it doesn't exist now. Or it's alternate 1985 or something. It's alternate
Exactly.
storyline or whatever the
Like The
fuck.
Wraith. Remake that. Make it better. Remake Blood Beach. That movie sucked. That could use a remake.
I'm at a point I say don't remake any goddamn thing anymore. I'm just tired of these reboots, tired of these remakes.
Well, I'm not. I'm to the point where if you're gonna
For
remake
me,
anything, remake something, you better have a damn good reason for remaking it, other than I like that movie. Let's remake it.
because even if they remake Blood Beach, it'd just be a shitty sci-fi channel movie or shitty CGI. It'll be just as bad. I'd be like, wow, you fucked it up because I just fucked it up.
I even had somebody say like, "What about a remake of Jaws?" I'm like, "No, they already fucked that franchise over. Jaws of Revenge. Why do we need a remake of Jaws?" Or how about a prequel with the USS Indianapolis with Quint? No, just do
Yeah, like
a
the
separate.
prequel to the thing.
Yeah, just do a separate prequel. What? Just do a separate film about that incident, which is based on a true story that isn't a TV movie.
Or
But
just do a
yeah,
movie like Deep Blue Sea, which is fun.
yeah,
How about that?
or Deep Rising. But nobody
Which
likes
is
that
another
movie.
fun. Well, I don't give a fuck what anybody else thinks. I give a fuck what I think because I can't speak for anyone else.
Exactly, that's the
Can't.
point.
That's the thing.
It's not. We're not speaking for everybody because we can't. I can't speak for everybody. Matt can't speak for everybody. We're not trying
Exactly.
to convince everybody of anybody who listens to this podcast of
Because everyone should have their own
everyone
mind.
should have their own opinion. Keep the world interesting. Have a different opinion,
Sure,
please.
yeah, go ahead. Feel what you want, but this is how I feel, and this is how Mike feels, and fuck,
Exactly.
we're gonna say it because we're not gonna be afraid of it.
No, I want to talk about it. I want to mention it because it's a concept that it's a subject that I think just does not get talked about enough, especially when you look at how far it's gotten out of hand. It's just getting ridiculous. We had a Footloose remake that came out that nobody fucking remembers, and what was
I,
the point? It's just
I don't.
pointless remakes. I
I
thought
don't.
that's the thing. I thought The Thing, The Blob, The Fly, Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead, Maniac. I like Silent Night more than Matt did, but in some instance, those remakes to me, they had a point to them. What was the
Actually, the
point?
remake of Foolish did make money.
They did make money, but nobody remembers it.
Fuck.
I literally asked somebody about that movie was remade. Look at the Robocop remake. That's in the $5 bin at Walmart now, collecting dust.
Continue.
So that's the
Collect.
thing. It's going to continue. It's going to continue to collect dust. I'm just sick of pointless remakes.
And
How
the
about
Foolish
that?
remake had your boy and Dennis
Yeah,
Quaid.
I know. He probably was good, but the rest of the movie sucked, as usual.
Yeah.
I'm just sick of pointless remakes and shitty remakes. And I have a strong suspicion that Big Trouble in Little China will be a shitty remake. I had that suspicion with Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah.
I had that suspicion with The Fog, with Halloween, with what was the most recent? I haven't seen Carrie yet either,
Total
but
Recall.
with Total Recall, I had that suspicion. I had the suspicion with RoboCop because we're in a day and age where we can't, God forbid, we make a violent movie anymore. We have to get one from Sweden that gets posted on YouTube
Yeah.
that we can watch for free.
Well, they think some of the fucking movies from the 80s are PG-13.
Full of shit. Red Dawn, you compare the Red Dawn remake with the That's another remake that was pointless. What was the point of that? There was no
But
point to it
yeah.
at all. Like
Because
there,
you get people who are fucking idiots like, what was it, John Hyams, who fucking, I remember, says I'm doing the Van Damme Marathon, I
yeah,
remember he did a commentary for the Regeneration,
uh-huh,
and they talk about how they like the new Rambo,
yeah.
because he thought Yeah, I think some of the previous Rambo films were PG-13. I think Rambo 3 was PG-13. I'm like, really? A guy gets hung and a pin from a grenade and hung and blows up, but you think that's a PG-13 movie?
Arrows go
Brain
through people.
damage!
Arrows go through people.
Brain
Rambo has a
damage!
giant hole in his side that he puts gunpowder in. A guy gets blown up into pieces with an explosive arrow in Rambo 2. Yeah, that's
Brain
PG-13.
damage!
Really
Fucking
is.
brain
Or
damage!
like Joe Kinnaman, who thought The Dark Knight was rated R. That's the
Yeah.
opposite.
Nothing about the film radar even to it.
No, the pencil trick.
Nothing.
You never see the pencil penetrate anybody's eye or anything.
There's more violence in Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yes, there's more violence than
Fucking heads
Gremlins.
exploding.
There's more violence in Gremlins than in The Dark
Exactly.
Knight.
More violence than Christmas
Poltergeist.
Vacation.
Violence in Poltergeist.
More violence than National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. Fuck's sake.
Speed of Vacation, yeah, let's do a remake and let's just
Well, it's a sequel, kind
sequel,
of, with
meta,
Chevy Chase.
reboot, kind
Because it's
of
the son
whatever. Yeah,
growing up. That's why I said I'm tired of remakes, tired of reboots, I'm tired of this shit.
I
Because
am
a lot of it's
too. I'm just
shit.
tired of pointless.
No, I did not see Fury Road, but who knows?
I did,
We'll see.
and well, by the time this is
Yeah, wait.
posted, you will already see my point of view on that
But you didn't
movie.
hate it.
No, I
And a
didn't.
lot of people love it, so that's cool. I haven't seen it, so I can't say anything.
But I'll take that. I'll take a sequel, whatever. But that's not really a sequel. I don't care what George Miller says. That's a whole nother story. But
Yeah.
that's my main goal. My point is this: I'm sick of pointless, shitty remakes. Don't remake a movie because you like the movie and you have some star who's willing to do it, who's made money. Remake the movie because you think you can add something unique to it. You think you can take it in a different direction, and remake it because there is a distinct difference between the time periods and when the film's released. But that's just how I view it. I view a good remake as something that, and I really like the '70s Invasion of the Body Snatchers remake. I really do. It's a really good remake with Donald Sutherland, and it's a great remake. But I also like the '93 version. But then it was also its own film. That's the thing. If you're gonna remake it, make it your own film. That's my
Yeah.
advice. If you're gonna remake a movie, then at
Yeah.
least remake your own film. Don't do it shot for shot like Gus Van Sant or John Moore who remade The Omen, pretty much
It
shot for shot.
doesn't matter. Just make it a good movie. There are movies that
Yeah,
remakes are different.
there you
Doesn't mean they're
go.
good.
No, that doesn't mean they're good. Like RoboCop, that's a different film. But at least I'm like, at least you attempted, at least you tried to do something different. You failed, but at least you tried to do something different and didn't just try to remake the original film shot for shot. Don't do that. And don't, for the love of God, don't be like Poltergeist and just give me homage after fucking homage, reference after reference to the original movie, because that's not respecting the original movie. That's disrespecting the original movie, in my opinion. Like the Nightmare on Elm Street remake, just remaking all the kills for the most part from from the original film, and doing it shitty, doing a shitty job of it. With remember what's her when the girl's getting flown around the room and she's getting
Yeah.
cut
The
up,
Tina.
Tina
It's
in the
supposed to be
original,
Tina. Yeah.
and then the remake it looks shitty because it's freaking CGI and she's bouncing around like a pinball. And they even remade the scene with Freddy's glove in the bathtub. Why? That's what I'm talking about when it comes to pointless remakes.
Right.
So it's my advice to Trouble of China remake. Try to be your own film. If you fail, hey, at least you tried. And most importantly, be good. Good luck, but I would rather you just taken that concept and put a new spin on it, because then you're keeping the wheel of creativity spinning and it's not stuck in a rut.
Fuck this remake. It didn't eat shit and die. Fuck this shit.
I agree.
Yeah, I know.
At the end of the day, I do agree. I do agree with him.
Fuck that fucker.
Fuck you
Fucking
too.
bullshit. Fuck this goddamn horse piss.
It's only
Tired
gonna
of this
get
shit.
worse. I'm tired of it too.
Tired of
Makes
the
me
theme
sick.
pre-comes. I'm tired of Prometheus. Tired of this shit.
Tired of shitty movies, and I'm tired of
It's
shitty
bullshit to
remakes.
live it. Well, yeah, the Predator fucking reboot too. There you go. Sequel, reboot, whatever the fuck it is now. It's a
War
reboot. It's
games.
a remake.
They're
It's a
doing war games. They're doing Blue Thunder.
yeah, Blue Thunder as well. Which doesn't make any sense because they actually used someone called real helicopters back in the day. It's just gonna be CGI, but some reason that's a step forward.
It's gonna be like
I
Stealth.
don't know.
They already did that. They already did a remake of Blue Thunder. It was called Stealth.
Well, stealth wasn't the same. It was an
No, but I'm
AI.
just saying it's still kind of hey, it's a flying. But yeah, it was different enough. But yeah, it's like it's just gonna be CGI. Yeah, like Terminal China. Let's take great practical effects and visual effects that still hold up great, and let's make it all CGI. Because God forbid we have practical effects because all the people who were great at it are fucking retiring.
Yeah, Rick Baker retired. Bravo team went missing. He's on milk cartons. Tom Savini said fuck it, and then I guess he's directing a movie, but great once every 10
The only
years.
people who are working are K&B and ADI, and K&B only gets work because of The Walking Dead.
Maybe I only did work as a Kickstarter.
Yeah,
That directed the
last time
movie.
they got work doing any practical effects is an Ender's Game, and it didn't make any money. So that's a whole nother podcast and a whole nother story. But
Yeah.
fuck these remakes, fuck these reboots. I'm fucking sick of this shit. I'm sick of seeing every time I see any kind of movie news, half the goddamn time it's a fucking remake or a reboot of one of my favorite films. This is back. This is the third fucking time. It's back to back to back. Robocop. It's Poltergeist. Now it's Betrayal of China.
Fucking reboot after reboot after reboot. Fucking Terminator. Fucking Ninja Turtles. And fucking everything else.
I'll just watch Kung Fury multiple times than watch these shitty remakes. How about that? I'll do that. That'll be more fun. I'd rather see that on the big screen.
I'd rather just jerk off on my own face. About that and see your fucking remake. Like Robocop in my face and Total Recall. I'll just come on my own face.
Yeah,
It'd be
like I
more
said,
exciting.
yeah, it'd be more exciting. You'd at least get to a
Suspenseful.
climax. You get to a climax,
It'd be more suspenseful.
and you'd feel good afterwards. And it wouldn't be as much of a chance. Because you know what's going to happen. With the remake, you don't know. You have no
Yes.
idea.
Yeah, at least it's not a lottery.
It used to be a risk that was worth taking and it was unique. It's no longer unique
Because back in the
anymore.
day, people did take risks.
It's no longer unique anymore because it's just taking an old idea, taking the title, and trying to sell tickets. That's it. It's no
And
longer unique anymore. It's no
don't even
longer
this
original.
just go support a original movie. That has to be good too, folks.
Exactly.
Did
So,
everyone really think Tomorrowland was going to be a masterpiece? Seriously, no one gave a fuck about Tomorrowland because everyone thought, who gives a shit?
nobody cared about it when it was announced.
No one gave a fuck
And its
after.
cryptic advertising didn't help much either. If you have a teaser trailer like that, fine. But if all of your trailers don't give you two fucks of an idea of what the film is about, that's shitty advertising. Showing clips of your movie before Avengers 2 is shitty advertising too. So it flopped. I don't blame it. It's not because it was a remake or original or whatever. It just people didn't think it was a good movie.
Don't remake shit. Remake fucking Steel. It's
Like I said, remake shitty movies.
yeah.
But Hollywood is too scared.
I know I'm going all over the place. I say don't remake anything, then I say why don't you just
Well,
remake
they're
something
too
shitty?
scared. Well, it's
This
true.
fucking
They're too scared.
this discombobulated. I'm just
Well, it's because Matt doesn't trust them, and he has every
should I?
reason not to. I don't trust them either. But at least I'd rather the idea of remake a shitty movie than remake a classic. How oftentimes does that work out when you remake a classic? As many times as you win the lottery.
Yeah,
So there is the point I'm
yeah.
trying to make. It's not worth the risk anymore. It was somewhat worth the risk back in the day. It's not worth the risk anymore because it happens too much. And there's already become a track record of remakes not being good. Just like video game movies not being good. So that is why I feel the way that I do, and that's why I don't have hope for Virtual China remake. I don't have hope for a Blue Thunder remake. I don't have hope for any remake. There's
But I
no
mean,
reason why I should. And if it is good, I'll say it and I'll admit it.
look at all the other trends. You had a lot of films that came out that were like stream. Then a
Yeah,
lot of them started sucking ass, and then it stopped.
slasher
Yeah,
films.
yeah, a lot of films that were like Saw,
Yeah,
and then there were a lot
torture
of ones
porn.
that
Yeah,
started sucking, and then they don't make as much as
Alien.
they did
A
anymore.
lot of Alien ripoffs or Exorcist ripoffs or how
But
about just slasher films in general. I mean, it just got to the point where it just got oversaturated. And that's why the
video game
genre is
movies, they don't
hurt.
make a lot of them anymore either.
No.
Because a lot of them sucked, so they
So
stopped.
stop making
Or,
remakes.
or remakes
Follow
still keep
follow the
going.
advice from these other films that learn from your past. How about that? Learn from your past, or you're doomed to repeat it. That's exactly what's happening. They're not making money, so why they keep doing it, I have no idea. All I can assume is that the producers, the studios, are fucking morons. And some of that is true. Instead of making a unique, different Fright Night remake, which had Chris Sarandon playing Chris Sarandon, and there's bringing in real vampires into a world where Fright Night's a movie and it's a popular film, and so you have like the character Charlie or comes in and tries to get Chris Sarandon to help him fight these vampires. A different take on an old idea. Wow! What did the guy at Lionsgate say? Or was it well, not Lionsgate? It was I forgot who released Fright Night. Either way, it doesn't. Or the studio, the guy, the producer who was working on the Fright Night remake, he didn't get it. So that's it. He didn't get it.
Of course not, there's a bunch of idiots.
So that's another reason why. And that's why it's not going to change anytime soon. But it doesn't mean I can't complain about it. It doesn't mean I can't give my thoughts on it. That's like if we're if we lived in a country where there's some really awful, horrible ruler who's just incompetent and stupid and making stupid decision after stupid decision. It's all right to at least talk about it and to just point it out how stupid this is.
So what,
If
people
we didn't
complain about sports
if
all the
we didn't
time,
do
and there's no
that,
problem?
no, if we didn't do that, like I would too. I complain about fucking shitty officiating,
People complain about sports, and that's
fucking
fine. People
crappy
complain about
refs who
politics, and
turn
that's
over
fine.
turn over a freaking catch because of shitty evidence.
See,
That's a
there you
whole
go.
other
People
story.
people can complain about sports, and it's fine. People can complain about politics, and it's fine. People can
Yeah.
complain about food, and it's fine. But then in this, it's either, well, you need to make a movie. Well, then you better not complain about the mail because you're never a mailman. You better not complain about food because you're not working at a restaurant. You better not complain about sports because you never played for a fucking major sports team. So that means you never complain about anything unless you fucking worked it. So unless your dirty jobs with Mike Rowe, in which you worked every damn job, you can't say shit about anything. Good
Oh,
on you. You don't complain about anything. You're special. You get a fucking golf clap. was a remake of Men at Work. Come on. Sure, that's coming.
Yeah. Well, that's a great way to put it.
Remake Young Guns. All this other shit.
If this
And
becomes just if this just becomes something that people just let go and run wild and don't care, then that's what's going to happen. You're going to get remakes of everything. And I honestly
they are
cannot.
doing that.
They are, but it could get even worse.
It's already gotten worse.
It has,
To
but
me, it is worse.
it can get even worse, and
But
you
I
know
already
it
know they're
can.
going to do Die Hard. I already know they're going to do
Yeah.
First Blood. You might as well say they're doing Terminator, because it is a fucking
Or they'll
reboot.
reboot Indiana Jones.
They've talked about that. They will
Yeah.
do it. I guarantee it. Harrison Ford will be too old, and they'll go, okay, we'll reboot it because we like the character, and we'll just take him on another adventure.
It was successful with Mad Max, so they'll look at it like that, and they'll be like, "Oh, Mad Max is successful with a reboot, so
Exactly.
with a new actor, so
Why
let's
wouldn't
go
they?
that route. Let's go that route." So that's just our thoughts on this, and hope you guys enjoyed it,
Yeah.
and I just wanted to talk about it a little bit, get a little bit off my chest, out of my basement, so to speak, and yeah, just a little bit of venting, and
Yeah.
good luck. That's all I gotta say for any remake that comes out lately. Good luck. You have a pretty
Um,
shitty track record to overcome, and I
no,
doubt you're gonna do it.
my
But good
message is go
luck.
fuck yourself to the
Fuck
remakes.
yourself, Scooter.
Go fuck yourself, Scooter. Go be like fucking Van Damme and go fall asleep crying to monkeys. Fuck
But people
yourself.
love that.
Oh well, still tell the movie to go fuck itself. Eat shit and die. Eat a dick and shit it out, and then go fuck yourself with it.
Fuck you and die remakes. Fuck you and die.
Kiss my ass. Suck my dick.
Kiss my ass.
Okay.
All right.